My 25M fiance, 24F's best friend sent me proof of her cheating at her bachelorette party. First of all, sorry for mistake, I'm writing in a state between exhaustion and being completely drunk. So yeah, pretty common story. Met her 5 years ago at uni, fell deeply in love and thought she was the love of my life. 5 years of relationship, she decided to fucking crush, laughing my ass off. I wanna break my skull right now. We were not a perfect couple, but damn, we were close. Her family liked me, and while I don't really have one, I felt so welcomed in theirs. We had projects. The first one was me buying this big, now garbage of a house near the sea. Building a family on my own. I proposed to her earlier this year, and I couldn't think of a better night than this one. Why the fuck she had to throw everything away like that? Yesterday morning, I woke up with big headache from my little party with the boys, and what a surprise when I saw that my fiance's best friend sent me not 1 but 5 fucking videos. How naive I was thinking. Oh cool, they had fun. Must be some fun or embarrassing moments lol. To summarize the 5 videos. Her kissing at least 3 others guys. Making out really passionately with one. I mean really passionately. Licking champagne on his body, and finally her being lifted up into a room and a lot of noises from behind the door. My friends are still with me, as dumbfounded as I am. I guess she slept most of yesterday because I had the first text last night and a shit ton of them plus calls since this morning. I only asked her yesterday to tell me the truth and she played like nothing happened. I just can't, I swear to God it's crushing my mind. She just begging on text for me to pick up, saying it's not what I think. How cliché, right? Even her best friend is trying and told me we need to talk. I picked up just once, told her I know for the guy, and bam, blank silence. Then sobbing and crying, telling me to meet to talk and explain because it's not what it looked like before I hung up and turned off my phone. Even asking me who was the bitch that sent me the vids. Guys, I really thought I could have my own family. It was hard growing in foster. I guess I only have my bros and my job left. I guess I need some outside advices. Maybe it really wasn't what it looked like, but how to believe that BS. That sucks, man. At least you found out before the vows and the ceremony. Take it as a win. You dodged the mother of all bullets. A person who acts this way, regardless of male or female or otherwise, isn't someone you want to marry. Never will understand a sexual bachelors or bachelorettes. Fucking stupid idea. Cancel the wedding immediately. Block her. You deserve so much better than this. I am so very sorry this happened to you. You will be better off without her. She cheated, lied and denied. You dodged a big bullet knowing now before the wedding. You have been done a favor also in that it will allow you to eventually meet the real person you're supposed to be with. For now, end things, take time to heal and be comfortable in your own skin. Spend time with friends. Do things you like, and for the love of God, do not let her back into your life. Block her on everything. I had a friend who was cheated on twice by his wife. After the second time they divorced. He eventually took her back and remarried her despite what we all said. Imagine living that kind of life, sending that kind of message to kids that it is okay to cheat. Sorry you're going through this, but just know it does get better eventually. Been there. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. You can have your own family, just not yet, and not with her. But you have good friends who stay with you. That is also kind of a family. You are not alone. Get sober. Tell everyone the wedding is off. Divide your stuff. Decide who gets what, and that's that. Take your time, grief, and then get out there again. It hurts, but your life is not over. All the best. It's not what it looks like. Video evidence of her cheating. Well then, what does it look like? For being cruel, for not allowing my dying mum, 52F, to meet my 24F baby. Trigger warnings. Mentions of past suicide attempt, past sexual abuse, past drug abuse. I, 24 female. Hadn't talked to my mum in over 2 years when the hospital called me up and said she's in the ICU with multi-organ failure due to drug and alcohol abuse. I went and saw her before they put her in a coma, as I was told she most likely wouldn't wake up. My family pressured me to tell her I was 16 weeks pregnant before she was induced, so I did. After a few months and some ups and downs, she finally woke in hospital, but she was in and out of a coma. My family kept telling her about my pregnancy cause they thought it would help her make it out alive. She finally got better, got put on NDIS, disability support services, and found housing. I've seen her once at her new place, but since pretty much have gone as low contact with her as possible. My mother was an absolutely awful mother to me. I saw surrounded by pedos. No, I wasn't touched, but I saw other kids that were. My mother saw it too, she just didn't care. There was constant drug abuse around me and very mentally unwell people. One lady slit her own throat. My mum tried to get me to siphon petrol out of a mower when I was 12 and I swallowed a bunch. She wouldn't take me to the hospital or doctor. Wouldn't feed me properly. I had the same clothes from 5 years old when I was 11 and I still fit them. She put me in a child's mental hospital when I was 10 with ADHD cause apparently I was the issue and I had to go to hospital school with a bunch of kids aged 5-17 dying with cancer, and yeah, a lot didn't come back to the classroom. My family comes from a wealthy background but always ignored what was going on and never tried to take me off her. Not until I almost committed suicide at 15 cause no one would take me away from her. I ended up being flown to hospital in a helicopter. My grandmother took me in after that. I'm currently 33 weeks pregnant and I'm holding a baby shower at my house. I've invited both my partners and I's family. Someone in my family has told my mother that I'm having a baby shower and she had a mental breakdown over her not being invited. My grandmother, her mum, has called me absolutely cruel for telling her about the baby when she was dying. When I try to say what she's done to me, all I'm told is that my mother doesn't see it that way and I should allow my mother to be in my child's life. I really don't want to be anywhere near her, let alone my baby. She's still drinking and doing drugs despite having 50% of a functioning liver and kidney. My partner and his family has taken my side. My partner said it would be absolutely cruel to our child to allow my mother in our lives. I have a good life now, I don't want her in it to ruin it. Good for you. Do what's right for your baby. My mom doesn't see my children because she was abusive to me while I was growing up. Your mom made her fucking bed, she can lie in it. Don't let her in your life. Have a friend ensure she doesn't try to crash your shower. Tell grandmom, this is your child, and you are protecting baby from your mother, unlike the first 15 years of your life. She's still drinking and doing drugs. Your partner agrees with you. No issues here op. You do you. I get it. I don't have contact with either of my parents. It's been over a decade and I'm still healing, still getting stronger every day. The people that weren't there and don't understand don't need to understand. You were there and that's enough to know what you want to do. I, am 26. Want to divorce my wife, F 26. But she literally has nowhere to go. TLDR. Pretty much what the title says, but I think some context is very much needed. My wife, F 26. Let's call her Jane, and I, M 26, met in high school. We started out as friends and grew closer over the years. During our final year we realized that we were becoming more than just friends and made it official. After high school I got a job working at the grocery store. I then quickly realized I hated every second of it, so I decided to enter college and become a software developer. Around the same time Jane and I decided to move in together. I now work full-time as a programmer. A couple of months after I graduated Jane and I got married. Jane's story is a bit different. For starters, I had a pretty normal upbringing, she did not. Her father left soon after she was born. The reason? Her mother was a violent alcoholic. For some legal reason he could take Jane's, at the time, 12-year-old brother with him, but the newly born Jane was left with her mom. So she grew up alone with an alcoholic mother. Her parents got back together roughly 10 years later, which, according to Jane, led to them becoming much healthier and happier. They were still shitbags though. This upbringing has resulted in Jane having really bad trust issues. On top of this she has social anxiety and is autistic. As a result she hasn't been able to keep a job for more than a couple of months before quitting due to stress and anxiety or being fired due to underperforming. She goes to therapy and is on both antidepressants and ADHD medication. But, despite this she hasn't really shown any signs of getting better. So, why do I want a divorce? Several reasons, but it all kind of boils down to me not being able to see a future with her anymore and realizing how much her issues are and have been affecting my mental health. I practically feel like I'm her caretaker. I work 8 hours a day and I do more or less all household chores because she's either too exhausted or feel like she'll have a panic attack if she forces herself to, for example, do the dishes. At first I didn't mind this as I believed it was just a temporary state of affairs until she got better. But it's been 6 years since we moved in together and nothing has changed. What's worse is that she doesn't even see it that way. I have brought this up with her several times and I'm always met with accusations of being a liar and how we do, in fact, have equally divided chores. She picks up things here and there, folds her own laundry. By this she means she takes the laundry I have separated and folded after unloading the dryer and puts it in her closet. And cooks more than me. This true. Although we mostly order takeout or meal prep because none of us have the energy to cook daily. Another major strain on my mental health is that I've become somewhat isolated. I barely hang out with my friends anymore and never go to after-works or other work events. This is because Jane's anxiety goes through the roof if I'm out without her due to her trust issues. And whenever she has an opportunity to join, she doesn't because of her social anxiety. Because of this I just choose to not engage in social activities without her. Finally, I cannot make plans with her. At least not plans that can't be cancelled. Because it's impossible to know if she'll be non-anxious enough to commit to the plans before it's too late. So many times we've had to cancel on our friends or my parents because of this. We've also had to cancel outings for just the two of us. I've been depressed for years now and I've just now realized my marriage might be the cause of it. My wake-up call to this was in January this year when my wife approached me and said, "You know what? I just don't think I'm capable of working. What if I just keep being a housewife?" Now, in theory I wouldn't mind this too much. I make almost double the average income for my age and we're both quite frugal. So economically we'd be fine. However, she hasn't been a housewife. In my mind, being a housewife means making household chores more or less your job, not being home all day playing games and reading, which is what she's doing right now. So I told her, "I don't mind. But then I expect you to take care of all our chores." Except paying bills and budgeting, chores she has expressed never wanting to think about. To which she said, "Yeah, I pretty much already do." She doesn't. At all. I told her that I don't think she does and questioned when the last time she remembers doing any chore that's not cooking or picking up things from the floor. This eventually led to a huge argument. What ended the argument was me saying, "You're fucking delusional." To which she responded by hitting me, closed fist, as hard as she could in the face. At that point I just left and sat down in a nearby park and reflected on all of this. When I came back she apologized. She told me her mother used to tell her she was delusional all the time as a kid and she just reacted on pure instinct. She promised it will never happen again, hasn't happened since, and that she'd take care of all chores from now on. She hasn't and I don't think she ever will. I've thought about it a lot and discussed it with a very close friend and I have come to the conclusion that I just need to file for divorce. I can't do this anymore. I love her with all my heart but she is too much for me. I'm not equipped to handle a person like this and I've realized now that there is no shame in that. But I can't do it. Why? Because if I did she has nowhere to go. She has no contact with any of her family and they wouldn't help her anyway. She has no close friends of her own that could help her. We live on the complete opposite side of the country from where we grew up so I can't temporarily move in with my parents. I could find a new rental and give the contract to her but she has no income and literally zero idea how anything related to personal finance works. So how long would she be able to keep it? I don't know. There are just so many variables that makes me feel more or less trapped in this marriage. I love Jane too much to just screw her over, but I can't stay in the marriage anymore. What the fuck do I do? Also, sorry if this is poorly written. English is not my first language. At the end of the day, she is an adult and you are not responsible for her physical or mental health nor for keeping a roof over her head. Frankly, you've enabled her. If she didn't have you as a safety net, she'd have had to address her issues and keep a job. If you held her to account at any point along the way letting her know this was not acceptable, she may have sought some help. At this point, you're resentful and miserable and need to get out. Talk to an attorney. Consult a therapist for yourself too. I'm in the US so don't know what social services are available where you guys live or what the rules around alimony are but I'm sure that an attorney could help with that. I'm sorry man, that sounds really hard. I really think you should consult with a divorce lawyer who could probably help you problem solve a lot of those things. Also, not for the sake of saving the marriage, but just for your own mental health, if you haven't been going you should go see a therapist. Big difficult changes in life are exactly what therapy is for and it could really help you get some clarity and perspective. When going through divorce you don't want to be so depleted emotionally that you make any rash decisions, so therapy can help make sure you're in good shape emotionally because times likely are going to get more turbulent in the next few months. She hit you. That right there is reason enough to leave her. She's responsible for her mental health and she's not managing it at all. She either needs a higher dose of her meds or different meds and or more therapy or a different therapist as well. Consult an attorney and get all your ducks in a row. She's gonna have to figure out how to take care of herself. If that means getting a job or benefits, then that's what she has to do. Don't stay in an unhappy and now abusive marriage because right now she has no place to go. Don't set yourself on fire to keep her warm. You are not responsible for her. She is an adult and will have to start acting like one. This isn't poorly written at all. It's okay to feel this way. It sounds like Jane isn't going to get any better until forced to. The longer it goes on, the worse it's going to be. Go talk to a lawyer, offer maybe a 6-month plan or a year where you give spousal support. She will have a choice to use the time and money to better herself or not. It's up to her. She isn't going to do anything. Find a small place for you to move to, then do it. File after you speak to a lawyer. Her and her doctor, depending on the country, can file for disability for her, or they can check into other helpful places to assist her. You need to get out of this relationship for your own welfare. You have done enough. My girlfriend, 23F, is pregnant and I, 27M, don't know how to handle it. Edit. Thank you so much, everyone, for your advice for us to seek therapy together and talk about it more. I really needed some advice before I truly confronted her with how it was making me feel. We have since cried, laughed together, and made love. We decided that it truly is best we wait a bit longer to have kids and go through with the abortion. TBH, I think this has brought us so much closer already. I cannot thank everyone enough who has been positive in guiding me to talk with her more. Sometimes, I'm hard-headed and don't want her to have to know how I feel cause I don't want her more upset, but it was definitely needed this time. I cannot thank you all enough. So today, my girlfriend, 23F, and I, 27M, found out she was 8 weeks pregnant at her doctor's appointment for her gallbladder issues. She is religious about her birth control, pills, but of course, nothing is 100%. We have talked a lot about this before just in casual conversation, so we both already knew abortion was the option immediately. We have a very healthy relationship and the best relationship I've ever had. Going on 3 years in a couple of weeks. With all that being said, I kinda really wanna keep it. Her health is not great ATM and she needs some serious surgeries soon regarding her gastrointestinal system. Also, I'm in the middle of changing careers, and we are both back in school, and we already have a lot of financial obligations that would make it very unwise to keep it. But deep down, it does really bother me we are getting rid of it. I've been a stepdaddy before in a past relationship and love kids, and I've always dreamed of the day to have my own child. This really hurts, and I'm doing my best to be strong for her, to be by her side through all of this, but I'm dying inside. I had to step away cause I was shaking after we got back home, and I didn't want her to know it bothers me. I know a part of her wants to keep it, and it bothers her, too, and she cried for a bit, but she's already pretty dead set on the abortion. I know she would keep it if I asked her to, but I would never. What would be the best way to cope with this? We are also keeping this a secret until afterward. All I can think about is telling mine and her families and wanting to be excited and take care of her every need. This is so stressful, but I know it's for the best. It's really not wise, especially with all her health complications ATM, to keep it. I'm not really sure what advice I'm looking for, but this really breaks my heart, and I'm not sure what to do. Not to doom and gloom, but if she can't eat, and this is a doctor's question, what are the chances of the fetus surviving anyway? Are you going to agonize through just to end up with a miscarriage, or worse? It sucks, but definitely be open with your GF. Talk. Make the best choice of god-awful choices. Maybe get some therapy, as others have pointed out. But don't try to shoulder this by yourself. It's why significant others are significant. From what you're describing, it does not sound safe for your girlfriend to have this child right now. Your best option is to abort and then try again when the both of you are ready, healthy. Sometimes the right choice is the harder choice to make. Therapy would be wise. Not all decisions are made with ease and peace. Apparently healthy women still die in childbirth. You'd be unwise to expect her to want to risk her life like this. Dude. Wake up. Horrible time to have a kid. Go with the original plan. If you were both 30, I'd say chance it. At your age, especially hers, you should not. Don't get too excited about it. Get the life in place and you have plenty of time. Having an unplanned pregnancy with no jobs and when gravely ill is immature and just underlines you need to wait a bit longer.